Okay, thanks. Are we ready? Yes. Okay, we're calling to order the Thursday, November 9th meeting of the Library Financing, Facilities Financing Authority. Roll call.
Director Huffaker?
Present.
Director Lago?
Here.
Director Goldstein?
Here.
Chair Palacios?
Here. Are there any additional materials? No. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? No. Okay, here's where we get to the scary part. We're gonna take oral communications. Because the online is now scary. So we'll go ahead and start here in the room. Is there anybody in the room who would like to address the board on an item pertaining to our jurisdiction? Or, yes?
Good morning.
Hi.
I'm Tony Campbell, and I am here representing.
You want to come up here?
Oh, nice.
Oh.
All right. Well, may as well be official then. Oh, that's right, the speaker. Okay, well, good morning again. I'm Tony Campbell, and I'm here representing the Friends of the Capitola Library. With good news, actually. I'd like you to know that, or some of you may know, that when the initial construction plans for the Capitola Library were issued, the branch building exceeded what was available fund-wise. And no surprise, the city cut a variety of things from the budget, including solar panels. This happens all the time. It's not, it just happens. That was about 6.5 years ago. For the last 6.5 years, the Friends of the Capitola Library, a small band of 2 or 3 dozen people, have been operating a used bookstore in the Capitola Mall. Our goal in that bookstore has been to, properly complete the library building. We want you to know we're in a position to do that now. We have almost $51,000 that Gail Ortiz and I kept for this purpose from the capital campaign. That money is being held by the city. And we have about $350,000 that the Capitola Friends have earned, not solicited, earned, selling donated books at our store in the mall. We sell them mostly for $1 and $2 a piece. It's sort of amazing. Have any of you visited the bookstore? Okay, Matt's shaking his head, yes. Let me just give you this little handout on what our bookstore looks like. And if you look on the second page, you will see a selection of our Yelp reviews, which are uniformly positive because everybody likes that little bookstore. All right, so in August, our group formally voted to use our funds to install solar panels on the building. As Martha Stewart might say, it's a very good thing. We had hoped that the city would take oversight for the project, but they're not able to do that. Instead, we learned when Yolande announced her resignation that the project had been passed along to the library. Given that Yolande has stepped down and the library staff is in general overtaxed and has little experience with a capital project of this size, you can imagine that we're worried about what will happen with our approximately $400,000 investment. For that reason, we have not authorized the city or the Friends organization to release our funds yet. $400,000 is a lot of money. Today, we are asking you to direct library staff to communicate with us somewhat regularly about the project and the costs of the solar panel project. Thank you for your consideration of our request.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And that is amazing.
It is.
Definitely.
We're pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
If I may comment on it just real quickly, My children and I have visited the bookstore many times. We've made a small contribution to that large goal that,
Careful,
but
that's an old candy jar.
it's pretty incredible to reach that threshold. That's a lot of books sold through that work. So just want to applaud the work of the Friends of Capitol. I know there's details to be worked out with regards to the solar project, but I appreciate all that effort.
Great. Okay, any other comments or oral communication within the room? Okay, seeing none, we'll go online. Are there any comments online?
There are no public comments online.
Oh, good. We'll go to the library director's report.
I've submitted it, right?
Do you have any comments on it?
No.
Any questions or comments? Okay. There's no action on that. That's just on the agenda. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Are there any questions, or does anybody want to pull anything on the consent calendar? Okay, are there any comments from the public on the consent calendar? Seeing none in the room, are there any online?
There are no public comments online.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a motion on the consent calendar.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that is approved unanimously. There is no general business. On number 7, item number 8, are there any project updates or comments by board members? Yes.
I would just like to respond a little bit for this board's sake and for the public's sake about the solar project. The comments that you got are exactly right, and Matt, you said was really on point. I've been to that little library, that little bookstore too, and at $1 and $2 a pop, it's really.
4,000 square feet, not so little.
You're right, it's not so little, but it's a scaled operation. It's really just amazing. It's been really inspirational what they've been able to do. I would like to update folks that I've been in communication, as this board knows, because we were party to these leases. The city of Capitol has leased the building now to the county for 99 years. So I think our sort of position is at this point, the building is under the responsibility of the library fund in the county. And so we've been in communication about this potential project, the solar project. And I've been talking actually to Nicole about ways in which we can get the project done, whether it's here at the JPA, or with the county, or some other mechanism. I'm confident we're going to get there.
Okay. That's all the comments on item 8. We'll go ahead and move on to schedule upcoming meetings. Our next meeting is on February 8th at 9 a.m. at the Aptos Branch Library. Very exciting. And we are now going to go ahead and adjourn the LFFA. We'll call to order the Santa Cruz City County Libraries Joint Powers Authority meeting of November 9th. Go ahead and roll call, please.
Director Hoffaker,
Here.
Director Legault,
Here.
Director Goldstein,
Still here.
and Chair Palacios.
Here. Are there any additional materials?
No, Chair.
No. And any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No.
Okay. We will go on to oral communications on the Joint Powers Authority. Are there any oral communications on any matter that is within the jurisdiction of the board in the room? There's none. Are there any comments online?
There are no public comments online.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to item number 5, which is the report by the library director.
I have submitted that, Chair.
Okay, comments? Any questions or comments on the director's report? Okay. We'll go to the report by the Friends of the Santa Cruz Public Libraries.
Thank you, Chair Palacios. If you will indulge me, I've been having some respiratory issues, so I'm just gonna sit here. I'm told my voice carries, so I don't think I need to worry about that. Well, first, I'd like to say that we regret the loss of Yolanda Wildren as director. We enjoyed working with her very much. We wish her well. We are very pleased that you've chosen to select Eric Howard as the interim director. We know Eric well, we've worked with him before. We know he has the respect and the loyalty of his staff, and we will do everything we can to support him into this transitional period. In terms of financial updates, I think you know in August, we presented a check for almost $400,000 to the Board of Supervisors for the Aptos library. Next week, we anticipate presenting about $461,000 to the City Council of Santa Cruz for the Branson 40 and Garfield Park libraries. About 266 of that is Branson 40, and 195 is Garfield Park. All of these funds represent the outcome of the Realizing the Promise campaign that we did in late 2020 and 2021. We are glad to be able to support a number of other programs at the library. One, I'm delighted that the Munching with Mozart program is back down in this room, and it's absolutely packed. I mean, the 2 times I've been here, there were like 70, 75 people, so I think it's a great program. Another is the Youth Poet Laureate, which is a program which is being driven by Farnaz Fatemi, who is the city's poet laureate, or the county's poet laureate. So, in terms of the downtown library and affordable housing project, as I told you last time, we were talking with CCS Fundraising. We have entered into an agreement with them to develop a formal fundraising campaign for the capital campaign for that facility, which aims to raise about $2 million. Travis Carley, who's the vice president of CCS, recently attended one of our board meetings to describe the plan and answer questions for a number of people who are actually here. And I'm happy to tell you that we already have one pledge in hand, and we aren't really even launching until January. So we're feeling pretty good about the campaign overall. We have a new Friends chapter in Garfield Park, just starting out. This is led by new board member Albina Rapazade. She's the president of their very active group, and we were looking forward to having a Friends group here in the city. That's a really good thing. I'd also like to note that we were very pleased to welcome Carol Fuller to our board, and that happens to be sitting right here to my side. She is the new Capitola rep. I'm sure many of you know her as a longtime community activist and philanthropist, and we're delighted to have her. So, and then finally, I'd just like to take a moment to talk about a project that we've been undertaking. You know, last month we had Banned Books Week. Banning books is a long-standing tradition in this world, unfortunately. In my lifetime, I have seen books banned by communists, I've seen books banned by fascists, I've seen well-meaning people on the left want to ban books and well-meaning people on the right want to ban books. They always think it's a good idea, they're always wrong. It's just never the right thing to do. So we live in a representative democracy, and the free flow of information about people and ideas and our shared and lived experience is a critical part of that democracy. So we are offering a Banned Books Read Free t-shirt to anybody who makes a donation of $50 more to the book collection, and we have already raised something on the order of $3,000 for diversity in the book collection, so we're very pleased about that. And that is the end of my report, unless anybody has any questions.
All right, well, thank you so much. We're very, very fortunate to have such an active and energetic Friends of the Library. Really appreciate all the different projects you're doing.
Thank
We're
you.
very lucky here to have your organization. Are there any comments or questions?
I would just echo the chair's comments that you all are really a fundraising powerhouse. It's incredible. You make it look easy, but these are large amounts of investments in our library system and these new library branches, and we're just tremendously grateful for that work and excited to see the campaign kick off for the downtown library and affordable housing project as well. So Thank
Look
you.
forward to seeing you next week.
Are you there?
Okay, any other comments? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item 7, which is a report by the Library Advisory Commission.
Thanks, Carlos. Hi, Board. I am the chair of the Library Advisory Commission, and our primary effort, I guess, in the last few meetings has been crafting a resolution to bring to all of the various councils in the cities and the supervisors, reinforcing our commitment to not banning books. I think it's been well received. I believe the Capitola City Council is hearing it tonight, and I'll be a little more forceful because I'm preaching to the choir right now, but we'll make sure that gets passed as well. We are sorry to see Yolande leave, and I will take any questions, but the resolution, if you've all read it, I don't know if you've all received copies of it, but I think it was very carefully done. It was unanimously moved. There were some that felt that was outside the purview of the LAC, but I believe it is exactly the purview of the LAC to bring forward, the community's sentiments regarding something as important as not banning books. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
And finally, with regard to the Capitola Solar Project, I would like to, I know overburdened staff is, and I know that the county just loves taking on more and more projects. I'd be more than happy to volunteer in any project management services I could offer. It does have electrical in nature, so anything I can do for you, and like I said, sit in at a meeting or help you facilitate it, we can get it done up there pretty quickly. Not a personal company, not the people I work for, because it's outside of our core competence, but I can certainly help in some way.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And my price is right.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move on to item number 8, which is the consent calendar. Do we have any comments, or anybody want to pull any item from the consent calendar on the board? No. Are there any public comments on the consent agenda from the meeting room? I don't see any. Are there any comments online on the consent agenda?
Chair Pelosi, there are no public comments online.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a motion on the consent calendar.
Move approval?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Okay, we'll move to item 9, which is general business. We'll go ahead and leave it to staff for the first report.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board. We're very excited to talk about our busiest period during the year, which is our summer reading program. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Jessica, who is, Jessica Norquist is in charge of youth services for the library, and Jessica Goodman is in charge of adult services. And so I'll let them take it away.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Heather Norquist, and I manage youth programs and services for the library. And I'm here with Jessica Goodman, who manages adult programs and services. And this is our report on summer reading 2023. Our theme this year was Find Your Voice. I'd like to share a 45-second video that was posted on Instagram by our former community relations manager, Amanda Rotella, at the end of the program. This highlights some of the fun programs we offered for children and adults in our community, and teens as well.
You're simply the best.
This year, we saw a large increase in participants of all ages, including 2,042 children ages 0 to 11, 403 teens ages 12 to 18, and 1,136 adults. These numbers represent an increase of 50% more children than last year, 59% more teens, and 99% more adults. Total participation increased by 64% over last year. I name it up. Not moving. Thank you. Many factors contributed to the success of our program this year. All of our branches except Aptos were open during the summer. We had dedicated librarians at every branch who could provide programs for all ages. We were able to offer a full schedule of programs at the branches as COVID protocols were relaxed. Thanks to the Friends, we were able to entice new participants with some additional incentive prizes, including grand prizes for the raffles. And our librarians promoted summer reading at school assemblies, class visits, the Boulder Creek Last Day of School Party, and community outreach events such as Pride, Kids Day, and the Japanese Cultural Fair, and Juneteenth too. From May through July, our marketing department provided outstanding marketing support to publicize the program and make it easy for people to participate, expanding our presence on social media and throughout the community by providing lots of SCPL swag, including orange sunglasses that were a real hit at schools. The most important factor in our success was the dedication and enthusiasm of our staff, who assisted with sign-ups, tracking, reading, explaining how the app worked, how to do it online, how to use the log, and then how to receive your incentives. They also facilitated programs and tabled at the many outreach events. Here are some sample pages from the Reading Log events calendar. All of our materials were available in Spanish and English. As before, readers could track their reading either using the online program or the paper log. And we are especially appreciative of the Friends of the Santa Cruz Public Libraries, who provided $25,000 in funds for incentive books, performers, and raffle prizes. All children and teens who signed up received a $10 certificate for Atlantis Fantasy World and a free game coupon from Boardwalk Bowl, who was a new sponsor this year. And then after 5 hours of reading, children ages 0 to 11 received a free book to keep. We had a selection of books in Spanish and English at every reading level. And we found that graphic novels were especially popular during the summer. And then children earned raffle tickets for reading 10 and 15 hours, and teens earned tickets for 5, 10, and 15 hours. These prizes were gift cards to local businesses. Children and teens received a free scoop from Penny for Penny Ice Creamery and a grand prize raffle ticket for 20 hours of reading. And the grand prize for the youth raffle was a gift certificate for $500 to the bicycle shop of their choice. And the grand prizes for the teens were also a $500 bike shop certificate or a choice of Beats headphones, AirPods, and a disc golf set. This 20-hour reading goal was achieved by 828 children and 214 teens. The La Selva Beach Friends also funded a special incentive for participants at South County migrant housing sites, which was a backpack with water bottles and school supplies. With $23,525 in funding from the state library through the Lunch at the Library grant, we provided 12 pop-up program events at 9 summer meal sites serving youth, and distributed 905 books and 543 craft kits. Our bookmobile staff brought summer reading to all the bookmobile sites and arranged for a special bilingual magic show at Nueva Vista Community Resources. 14 teens participated in summer reading in Juvenile Hall. 20 books were distributed as prizes. Reading hours were not tabulated in Juvenile Hall. We treat them to free books with no strings attached. We provided 2 evening poetry programs presented by Nancy Gomez Miller from the Santa Cruz Poetry Project. A total of 17 attended the poetry programs. And in that case, low numbers are good because that means there aren't that many teens incarcerated. From June 1st to July 31st, 11,526 people attended 625 library programs, including regular ongoing programs, performer events, and outreach events. We offered magic, puppetry, bubbles, and circus acts, as well as a theater act and some poetry programs. We also had special craft workshops for kids, families, and adults. Some of our most popular programs for youth included Circus of Smiles, Tom Noddy's Bubble Magic, The Puppet Company Presents the Three Dinosaurs Gruff, Fratello Marionettes, Mike Della Penna's Summer Reading Magic Show, and Python Ron's Reptile Kingdom. Many of those performer events had over 100 attendees. We also offered special craft programs such as seed balls and shibori dye workshop and STEAM programs including Lego Building Challenge, Lego Not So Simple Machines, and Make and Explore crafts such as glow in the dark bouncy balls. In the Lego Challenge program, we talk about what the engineering project will be, and the kids have the opportunity to work together or on their own to come up with a solution. Either way, they consult each other about the various ways they can build their projects. In this Lego Challenge, the goal was to create a wild animal. And in the Perler Bead program, kids use their creativity to make colorful patterns or pictures with small plastic beads. It's also a great way to improve small motor skills as they place the beads on the frame. We added a new Advisory Council of Teen ACT group at the downtown branch, a first step toward learning what programs teens would like to see at that branch. ACT teens throughout the county helped with summer reading signups and at the branches. They volunteered at outreach events and helped with friends' book sales. We also worked with 2 teen interns at the downtown branch during the summer who were great help with lunch at the library and program support. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jessica.
All right, good morning. I'm Jessica Goodman. I manage adult programs and services for the library, and I'm going to share a few highlights from our program for adults this year. So Heather shared a lot of participation numbers. I will just add that Santa Cruz Shakespeare provided an early sign-up raffle prize for tickets to one of the season's plays. And with funding from the Friends of the Library, we were able to offer local merchant gift cards as raffle prize incentives, including a grand prize raffle of a family membership to the Museum of Art and History or the Monterey Bay Aquarium. 2 of our main programs this year on the Find Your Voice theme were the Anti-Racism Book Circles in partnership with the Resource Center for Nonviolence and the Bystander Intervention Trainings. Participants in these programs mentioned things like how it helped them to respond to racist comments or ideas in a less confrontational and more productive way, and how important it is to develop tools for real conversations with other people around divisive topics spurred by social media, such as politics, religion, race, etc. The library also received an award from the Resource Center for Nonviolence for our extraordinary service, inspiring contributions to the community, and dedication to making the world a better place. We had a well-attended and enjoyable concert at Felton featuring 3 local bands and highlighting Soundswell, which is the library's digital collection of local music. We also offered a variety of programs for creative expression. We had poetry and collage programs. And one of the outcomes that really stood out to me was one participant who talked about how creating a visual poem, so collage plus poetry, of trees and fog helped them to heal from the CZU fires that had damaged their home. We also had several fun craft programs. We started a movie series of award-winning science fiction. Our adult and youth librarians got out into the community at Santa Cruz Pride, Juneteenth, and the Japanese Cultural Fair. And finally, one special thing that we started this summer and will continue through the year is, thanks to funding from the Friends of the Library, we're providing books to students in the Rising Scholars program from Cabrillo College. These books support the classwork of students incarcerated in county jails. The books are supporting the classes that are part of a career series that leads to Cabrillo College certificates. And it allows us to build a relationship that connects these students with their libraries. So I will end on that note and see if there are any questions for Heather or for me.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? Well, I want to thank you both. Very successful programs, very interesting. I wish I had had that when I was a young person. It's very, very cool. Do we have any comments from the public on this presentation?
Nothing except to commend the library staff for all the good work that they do. It's great.
Absolutely. Thank you very
I'm
much.
going to pay more attention. It's just been a casual fundraiser, but my intention is to pay more attention to programs.
And do we have any comments online?
Chair Palacios, there are no public comments.
All right, well, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go now to item B, which is the cost benefit analysis for library administrative services contract. Staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Let's see if we have Marisol. Oh, great. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hand this over. This is something that the City of Santa Cruz has helped to shepherd through. So I'm going to hand it over to Marisol Gomez.
There we go. Good morning, board. I hope you can hear me okay. My name is Marisol Gomez. I'm the Assistant Finance Director for the City of Santa Cruz. I serve as helping the Library JPA with their admin services agreement. And the discussion today is regarding the contract for Matrix Consulting and the results of the RFP. But first, I just wanted to take a moment. Accompanied with me today is Rodel Mendoza. He's the Library JPA's new accountant here in finance. He started in August. And I just wanted to take the time to have introduce him to you all. He's the one that will be doing the dashboard report going forward. That's included in the library director's report. So thank you for that. And also we have Alan Pennington from Matrix online as a panelist. So just some brief information about the RFP. The RFP and the scope of work was built together with coordination with the Library JPA staff, the city, and the county. The RFP went out in July and proposals were due at the end of August. We received 4 qualified proposals, and all 4 qualified proposals were reviewed by the 6-member evaluation committee. The evaluation committee was also a mix from the Library JPA, the City of Santa Cruz, and the county. And the evaluation committee found that Matrix Consulting Group had the best proposal that was most in line with the scope of work and the requirements that we were requiring. So we would like to recommend that the board approve the contract for services with Matrix Consulting Group. And as you guys are well aware, due to staffing, we're also recommending that we come back in February with a plan about the project timeline and who that project team would be from the mix of our Library JPA in city to see the project forward. And at this time, we're just here to take questions on the RFP itself or any other questions you have.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have questions or comments from board members?
Do you want questions and comments, or just
Yes,
questions first?
questions, let's do questions.
Okay, so in the staff report, it mentions, it says that the board chooses to award the contract direction on funding, the contract should be provided along with the award. Help me with what that question means, that statement means.
So I think initially when Yolande was considering this, she was trying to understand what is the cost of the admin services from the city. And so we're hoping that the city can potentially help us out with those costs to do this contract so we can figure it out. And so I think the original intention was to share those costs with the city. And so now we're looking for guidance from the board on how to cover the cost for the contract.
Okay, so we budgeted a certain amount for the contract. Do we know how much we budgeted this year?
So I think that too was, Yolande had some questions around how we were gonna pursue that, and I think she was budgeting it on the basis that it would be split with the city. So I don't think at the time she knew the cost of the project.
Okay, so let me just try to reflect. What I think I heard was Yolande's expectation was that these costs would be shared 50-50, and presumably we have $50,000 in our budget for this work at this time.
Correct.
Okay, I think that's all my questions.
Is that the city's understanding too?
Yes.
Okay, just make sure we have a meeting over my. Okay, I had questions, could you go over the timing again of the project and when are key milestone dates?
Sure, I can speak to that. So because of recent vacancies in staffing, we are proposing that we come back in February with a more detailed timeline. The timeline that was submitted was with the proposal more fits if we were to start that project right away. So we need some time to build the project team out and decide, amongst library, JPA, and city and county, who we want on that project team. So the plan is to meet with Matrix in January and have a better plan and bring that back to the board in February.
I think maybe to add, the proposed length of time for the work is 10 months. So whenever that gets started, the expectation is the project will take 10 months.
Okay, how does that fit in with the contract we have with the city as now? In other words, we're gonna go through one more year of the same rate? Do we, administrative costs, and then it'll be the next fiscal year that this would kick in, whatever this study comes up with, do we?
I'll defer to board member Hoppegar, but my understanding is that can still be negotiated.
I think the likelihood, though, given that the project timeline is going to bleed into the next fiscal year, is that we'll be looking at a continuation of status quo until such time as recommendations can be brought forward.
Okay.
But there's opportunities to potentially look at even a mid-year adjustment based on how things pace.
Okay, so when we adopt the budget for 24-25, initially we'll keep the status quo basically, and then in either mid-year 24-25 or 25-26, we would adjust the rate at that point and end the study.
I think that's right. Marisol, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I do. So we're currently drafting up our central service allocation plan, which has been reviewed by the departments, and that includes the library. So we use that as a basis for what that status quo would be for the fiscal year 25 budget. So like Matt said, we're just beginning that process. Budget process doesn't start until I think February, March. So we do some preemptive work before then to try to get some of those allocation costs out there so the departments can utilize that for their talking points in the budget.
Okay. Yes.
I do have another question. In the scope of work, so when we talked about this in the budget, we've actually talked about this at some of the other JPAs in the county. We've talked about also looking at one of the models, which is potentially shared service among multiple JPAs, rather than using either, the city of Santa Cruz as we're doing now, or
The county.
the county would be another logical option. But does the scope of work that's crafted today include evaluation, looking, communicating with some of the other JPAs? I'm thinking animal services, 911. Is that part of the scope of work that's proposed today?
I believe that's included in one of our scenarios. Our scenarios, as listed in the scope of work, is to for Matrix Consulting to bring back any feasible scenarios. So it's not pinpointed those specific organizations, but we were hoping that that discussion would be had during the scope of the project and what is feasible to bring forward, which those discussions would involve those organizations.
So that could be one of the 3 delivery models that are considered essentially, okay.
That's my understanding, yes.
Is that work fully funded in this contract, or, understanding the administrative needs at the 911 center doesn't really seem like a City of Santa Cruz or a library cost necessarily? Help me understand that. So if there was some evaluation in that model, looking at what are the administrative needs at the 911 center, is that built in here somehow, or is it not at this stage?
I don't believe that that actual cost is built into this RFP, this scope of work as we have it. It was more of the sort of superficial estimates on what that would entail to add to the information that Matrix Consulting would be contracted to gather on our side, on the JPA side.
Seems like we may want to put this on a 911 center budget, or as we agenda to talk about potentially in addition to this contract.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That we could expand the scope a little bit to get more detail about the needs of because that's the one logical one, right? I guess the other one is the animal shelter. So the animal shelter as well, which is now using the county for its administrative support, but it seems logical that 911, we would bring it to that agenda and maybe talk about a contribution and expanding the scope of this study.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll bring that up at the 911 board meeting. Other questions or comments on this? Well, let's just do questions. I guess we'll come back with comments. I would just say that when we have the project team, that we should, I know the county, City of Santa Cruz and the library are all represented. It would be great to have somebody from one of your 2 cities on the project team, especially if we're going to look at the broader picture. So just something to consider.
Okay.
Okay, let me go ahead now and take public comment. Are there any public comments on this item? It's a very titillating item. Very exciting. For us administrators anyway. Okay, anything online? Any comments?
Chair Palacios, there are no public comments online.
Okay, so any comment or go ahead, you have a comment?
So first off, I want to say that, I know that things like this either seem like inside baseball or people wonder what's really going on. And, I know that there's been some history in this county of talking about, should the library staff remain with the City of Santa Cruz or not? That was a history. There was a lot of discussion around that. Gosh, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago. That's not what this is about. So I know as working for the library, you may wonder, like, well, does this mean that we're going to leave the City of Santa Cruz? That's not what this study is about. What this study is about the HR support, the financial support, the City of Santa Cruz, the people we think of as the staff at the City of Santa Cruz, whether they would support the JPA or whether we would get that support some other way, not about people on this side of the room. So I just want to put that out there to make sure everybody's aware of that and people aren't concerned or it's not raising any concern within the organization that suddenly folks are going to get pulled out of the City of Santa Cruz and employed by another entity. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I guess I would ask that in our motion we do include some direction to the City of Santa Cruz staff and Matrix to work up some options, kind of like additional modules we could bolt onto this contract probably examining how the 911 center gets, financial, HR, purchasing assistance, and the same kind of things at ASA, so that when we get to those board meetings, we can look and say, okay, do we want to participate? Is there value for that other JPA to look at maybe some sort of holistic option? Because I think that would really help our conversation at the 911 center if we had that kind of bolt-on scope in front of us. Overall, though, I'm excited by this step. This has been a conversation we've had for a very long time. I know the city of Santa Cruz has really struggled with trying to get a handle on, I think, what the real costs are for you to provide the services to help support the library. And so I'm glad that we're really taking a deep dive in it.
Okay, do you want to make a
I
motion?
haven't made a motion. I didn't want to cut off anybody else, though. I make a motion to approve the staff recommendation, which is the contract with Matrix Consulting. I guess this 50-50 cost share sounds like you'd like direction on that. That seems appropriate. The city of Santa Cruz is comfortable with it. And then also in that motion, request that the city of Santa Cruz staff work with Matrix to develop some bolt-on options for 911 and Animal Services Agency to also examine their administrative support in this context.
I would second that and just echo Jamie's comments. This is Jamie excited, if you haven't picked up on that. And it's something that we've talked about for quite some time. I think really to best leverage this opportunity, we would be scaling it across all the JPAs we have within the county. I think there's a lot of potential there, so appreciate that. Being included in the original RFP and really getting a better sense of what that scope and cost would be so we can approach the other JPAs with that discussion. But happy to support it and appreciate Marisol and the team's efforts to bring this forward.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion is approved. We'll now move to next item on the agenda, which is item C on the regular agenda. It's the proposals for the Director of Libraries Executive Search. Staff report.
And this too is being shepherded along by the city of Santa Cruz.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah DeLeon. I'm the Chief People Officer for the City of Santa Cruz Human Resources Department. With me today, I also have Kathy Bonino. She leads our Recruitment, Classification, and Compensation Division for Human Resources. Before the board today is, we are seeking a motion essentially to select which third-party consultant will lead the efforts for the Director of the Library recruitment. Our recommendation is to use Terry Black and Company. That was 1 out of the 3. The total cost there is essentially $35,000. The other 2 came in just 10 grand under. Second place was CPS, followed by Library IQ. The city's recommendation is based on our past experience with Terry Black. Unfortunately, the recruiter who helped us find Yolande retired. That was June Garcia, who had a lot of experience with the library. But with the experience of Terry Black and recent library director recruitments and the very minimal cost difference, the recommendation from City HR is Terry Black and Associates. We're available if there's any questions, but otherwise that is my report.
Yeah, I had a question. Sure. Just can you tell us which recruitments the city's done with her? Just mention a few of them.
Yeah, Kathy, do you have some of the background on Terry? Or Terry Black, the recent ones?
I don't have all of the details with me, but she's helped us with a lot of our executive recruitments, our water director recruitment, our public works director recruitment in the past.
City manager.
But that.
City manager.
And Parks and Recreation.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you for your report. Are there any questions any other questions from the board?
Just timeline. You can speak to that, Sarah.
Ran way too fast, sorry about that. So it looks like the timeline for that is about 14 to 17 weeks from selection to finish for bringing that person on board. Not too terrible.
Do we have a tentative recruitment start date, or we think sometime after the holidays?
Usually I would say we try to get it before. It would start in December, just to kind of get that, people are on break during December, so maybe they're looking and have a little extra time to apply, so I like to try to hit that window. So with the recruitment expected to close maybe mid-January, early February, and then getting outside of the panel and selections and deadlines that other members might be on vacation. We want to skip that and make sure everyone's back. So probably January for the interviews.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments from the public on this item? No comments? Any comments online on this item?
Chair Palacios, there are no public comments online.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a motion on this item.
I've worked with Terry Block in the past, and she's great. It's obviously not the cheapest contract, but that's, I think at this point, it's been such an important position. We really need to have a great team on board. So I'm glad that we're gonna be trying to advertise before the break, so we're not sitting idly for a while. And good luck with the team, and really happy, we'll be really looking forward to seeing some of the candidates. So with that, I would move staff recommendation to approve contract with Terry Block.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was the conclusion of the regular agenda. We now will go to any comments by board members. I actually had some comments this time, a few, just this is general. One is on the actual agenda packet. I found it a little confusing with both items on one packet to highlight the second one. I just really searched quite a bit to find it. So I don't know if you can go back to 2 PDFs. That was just simpler for me. I don't know if anyone else has comment on that.
Yeah, in fact, I was worried that we didn't have the recruitment properly agendized because I was having a hard time finding it there.
Yes. It helps just to have on this 2 for me anyway. So I appreciate that. And then I also noticed on the staff report that we don't have a fiscal impact section on them. And on some of the staff report, I had to search around again to, like on the recruitment, I had to go look and actually see how much it cost. I couldn't tell from just reading the staff report. And so I actually had to go into the contract, and I saw it was the $24,000 fee plus $11,000 of recruitment costs. But if we could, most of our staff reports have a fiscal impact section at the end, just sort of summarize it. That way I get a quick, so if you would consider that. Yeah, that was it. That was my comments. Any other things? Okay, so then our next item is we're going to be meeting again, PG&E willing, at our new Aptos. That's been our hope, trying to get PG&E to turn on the electricity at Aptos. So hopefully they will. We can move in, and then we will have our next meeting on February 8th at 9 a.m. at the Aptos Library.